In this video, I'm going to explain what is Seedream. I will show you several examples. Then I will compare Seedream with other AI models like Nano Banana or GPT-5 and show you the weaknesses and the strengths, which I'm sure you're going to be surprised. And then I will show you how you can use Seedream and where you can use it. So let's get into it. Alright, so Seedream is an AI model by TikTok, and this new version was really amazing. It came out 2 weeks after Nano Banana was published. And when Nano Banana came out, everybody thought that this AI model is making a huge change in image generating AI models. And it will take some time until we can go to the next step. But that time was just 2 weeks. So 2 weeks after Nano Banana came out and everybody was surprised, Seedream published their new version, which is much stronger comparing to Nano Banana. All right, so this is Seedream 4, and here are some examples. You can see the quality of images. And the good thing about it, comparing to other AI models, is that somehow it is smarter. So as we go forward, I will show you when you give a prompt to Seedream, when it wants to generate an image, it really think about that image. It put elements there that it's logical, okay? It just doesn't put something there because you asked it to, right? It creates a logic behind it. So I will put down all the links related to this video and all the tools that we talk about down in the description, as well as this page. So you can come here and learn more about Seedream. Here are some examples. For example, here, one of the good things that Seedream is really good at it is the changing the angle of the camera. So you have an image or you generated an image by AI. You want different angles with different lenses, like for example, wider lens, right? You can see even it can generate an image from the back of your character. But if you really pay attention, it tries to keep everything in the correct position, right? For example, look at the hair here, look at the hair here. It tries to, it's not 100% accurate, but it tries to keep everything accurate, similar to the other examples that done previously, right? For example, here we have a logo of a brand, and based on that, you can generate different images with different accessories, right? It's really helpful. A couple of years ago, if you wanted to do this, it would take a couple of days and it required a designer to do this. But right now, you have your company's logo, just give it to Seedream and mention where do you want it, or even don't mention, just put my logo on some accessories, right? And ask Seedream to give you an idea. It will do that as well. There are some other examples for the style, keeping the style and generating realistic, high quality images and keeping the material as it should be. It really delivers that feeling. In a moment, I will show you my own examples. So here are some other examples of what it is capable of. For example, here, it is an example of removing someone or something from your image. You see, it's doing a really great job, or changing the text of an image. Some AI models, like for example, Midjourney or GPT, they are not really good at text. Nano Banana was much better at text. Seedream is also really good at texts. Or for example, here, we have an interior which it's dark with almost no light, and you can just change that by turning the lights on, right? And when you just hover your mouse on each of these examples, you can see the prompt under it, so you can learn from it. Or converting in a sketch into some realistic image, or improving an old image, right? Now, comparing to Nano Banana, when Seedream want to generate an image, it will take a little bit longer. For example, Nano Banana may take 5 to 10 seconds, but Seedream usually takes something around 8 to 20-25 seconds, depending on the complexity of your image. But one thing that plays a major role here is that when we compare these two AI models, Nano Banana give you low quality image. Seedream give you 4K image. Now the resolution is 4K, but when you zoom in, you can see some you can see that it's not, for example, photoshoot 4K, but comparing to the other AI models, it's impressive. The first time that I saw it, I couldn't believe it. So here are some examples of different styles, right? And you can go through them. Let me come here. You can see different styles. You can play with it. And one other thing, here's the text that I told you it's really strong at it. You can see it can generate high quality content with clear and correct texts. Even it follows the correct fonts, or here it gave some equation to the AI model, to Seedream, and asked it to just solve the equation on a blackboard, right? How cool is that? Solving the equation, writing everything correct and clear. And also it looks good, right? The equation solved, it's right, and it looks good as well, right? Even it put some sunlight on it. Anyway, these are some examples provided by Seedream. And if you come down, you can see more examples under it. For example, converting a sketch into real photo. So for artists or designers that they have some idea, converting that idea into real life, real product is like this, right? So here are some examples. You can go through it. And here's also a guide from Seedream that I will also put the link down in the description regarding prompts, how to use keywords or how to use prompts so you can get a better result out of it. Now, same as any other AI model, prompting matters a lot here as well. And sometimes when you use Seedream, especially at the beginning, the prompt that you write, it may not give you the result that you want. And after playing a little with the prompt, adding more information or more details about what you need, helps to deliver the result that you're looking after, right? So I will put this guide as well, the link to this guide as well into the description. So anytime you have some questions or you have some, you want to improve your prompts, you can come to it and go through it. And I also prepared some examples for you so we can compare Seedream with Nano Banana and GPT-5. So let's get to that. Here's an example. Here we have, I found this image on Google, and I wanted to change the material of the sofa and the furniture, right? I found this leather texture again on Google, and I used this prompt on these three AI models on GPT-5, Nano Banana, and Seedream 4. And let's look at the result. So the result that ChatGPT-5 gave us, it's okay. First of all, the texture that it used it for every single part of all of these furnitures. The general look of it is good, but the result, it's not 100% close to the image which we had in the first place. If you compare it with the original, for example, look at the left side of the carpet and compare it with this part, it made some changes, okay? For even the texture of the ground, the floor, here is different from here. Or here we have some plant, which right now it's living on air, but here it was inside a bowl or something like that. So it made some changes. Even the carpet itself, it changed the lighting or the colors. For example, here it's a little bit darker comparing to this part. Or even if we look at the wall, right, the corner of the walls, and compare it together with the original, it's not 100% the same thing. Compare the windows, right? It's different. It made some changes. It's like 80% the same, okay? Now let's look at Nano Banana, right? So Nano Banana just changed the sofa, even though that in prompt, I specifically mentioned sofa and the chairs, right? It just changed the sofa. The material, it's not very realistic comparing to the example that we provided to the AI model, but the rest of the room, everything else is exactly similar as the original image that we had, right? Compare the carpet, it's the same thing. Compare the door, walls, windows, plant, it's exactly the same thing. It just changed the material of the sofa, and it also moved it, right? It moved it to the left, because in the original image we don't see the right side of the sofa, but here we have a clear view of that. So again, not really good, right? And here we have Seedream, which is amazing, I can say. So let's zoom in. First of all, because the quality of this is so high, right? It's 4K, we can see more details inside it. And if you pay attention, this is the part that I told you, it's a little bit smarter and it think more about creating the image. So even though that the image that I gave, right, all part of it is looked like this, it has some small pins there, right? For example, here on ChatGPT, right, it put those pins everywhere, right? We have these pins went inside everywhere, but here it made a combination. It thought that using pins here is logical, and for the rest of it, for example here, it followed the same structure that we had here, right? If you just compare both of them, or the original one and the result we got from Seedream, you see it followed the structure because this structure was logical. Of course, if you want to push it that, hey, I want this exact texture everywhere, it will give you something like this, but with higher quality. But if you just leave the hands open, it will give you something good, which is logical. Also, if you pay attention, GPT-5 also changed this chair as well. Okay, it's not the same thing. And even if I zoom in, you see when we look at the leather here, the texture, the material, the reflection, the small details on the leather, it gives us this exact feeling that this material is leather. But if we compare it to, for example, Nano Banana, it's not like that. It's not really close to our reference image, right? So in this test, Seedream 4 wins. Let's go for the next example. All right, so in this example, we have a thumbnail image that I used on one of my videos on my YouTube channel. It was the video about how to use Nano Banana inside Photoshop. And I wanted to test this. I wanted to give it an image, a real image, real photo, and ask these AI models to change the angle, right? And change the lens type. Okay, so this was the original image, right? It's just a straight point of view, right? And in the back, we have a computer, we have some monitors, we have some logos and icons here. And more or less, that's all we have in the original image. So here is my prompt: generate the image from top view with wide angle, right? So this is the original image. And this is what GPT gave us. So first of all, it changed the person, the character, it changed the clothes, right? It's not exactly the same thing. And the face, it's close to the face of me, right? It's close to my face, but it's not 100% that. It's like someone else, right? And it brought the camera up. It's not wide, right? It's not very wide, but more or less it changed the angle, but the result is not really good, right? Now let's look at Nano Banana. Nano Banana made the lens wide, but it didn't change the view, right? It's the same place, but just made it wide, right? And because it's in the same place, it was able to just create the same character accurate, right? It just zoomed back a little, right? If you compare these two, it's more or less the same image of the person, right? It just zoomed back a little. Now what Seedream did, it brought the camera up, right, to a higher point of view, and it made it wide, right? The only downside of it is that in the eyes here, it made some mistakes. But maybe if it test, I haven't tested with other faces. Maybe it's because of the glasses, the round glasses that I have, or some other thing. Because the rest of the head, it's more or less correct, right? The nose is correct, the hair, the beard here, even the shirt, everything. Look at this right side of my shirt and this side compared to the original. You see? It's exactly the same thing. So it followed every structure. Here we have a button, here we have a button. On ChatGPT 1, it's not really clear. On, well, on Nano Banana, because it's zoomed back, it's the same thing. But here, it just generated. It thought about it, right? All the details of my shirt, all the details in the background. Now, there's one thing. For example, let's look at the original image. Here, we don't have a spotlight, okay? But when it generated this image, it created this light, okay? That is just pointing out to the table behind me, but we don't see the light. This is the thing that I told you. Nano Banana doesn't think logically same as Seedream. Seedream is on another level, right? For example, Seedream didn't add these things, right? It added some other elements that it's related to our scene, okay? So again, in this example, Seedream 4 wins. Let's go for the next one. Here we have another example. It's an interior design in the daylight, right? This is the original image. I think I got this image from Google, or yeah, I think I got it from Google if I'm not mistaken. And here is the prompt: change this image to nighttime with all interior lights on, okay? So this was the original one, and this is what ChatGPT did, okay? It's more or less correct, right? It's nighttime, outside is dark, right? We see some trees, and it tried to keep everything similar as the original one, right? And what I liked here is that when we turn on this light, the shadow on the floor, it's different. We have a bigger shadow of the table, right? Which this was really impressive for me, done by ChatGPT, right? Nano Banana couldn't change it. Even I tried a couple of times. It wasn't successful. I'm sure if we maybe change the image or try several times with different prompts, it could become successful. But in the first couple of 2 or 3 tries, it just generated this, which was the best of them. And if you look at it, it's not very far from the original one, okay? It has a little bit more yellow color inside it, right? But the rest, it's just completely the same, right? So Nano Banana lose this round. And Seedream, well, the inside here, it looks really good, right? Even we see some reflection of some elements, a door or something on the glasses here, right? Which we had it in the first image, but here ChatGPT forgot about it completely, right? So Seedream thought about that. Here it made a mistake. It put some lights here, which doesn't make sense. And one thing that I didn't like, and I tried again 2 or 3 times, I couldn't get it, I couldn't make it better, was the shadow on the floor, right? So if we compare it with the original one, right, we had this shadow and the lights here because it was a sunlight, right? And these shadows came from the sunlight, the exterior light. But here we don't have them, right? We don't have the sun anymore. So the shadow and the lighting here should be different. But still, comparing to all of them, I think GPT-5 and Seedream win this round together. But the interior, the top part, the walls, the reflection on the glasses, even the exterior. Look at the trees outside. Okay, here, but here ChatGPT just try to guess something and make big changes. So slightly Seedream 4, if it could make the shadows on the floor better, it would win 100%, right? So let's go for the next example. So this is our next example. I wanted to test some complex prompt, okay, with different details, right? So this is our prompt. We have an office desk, which has some shelves, and you can read the prompt. We mentioned everything here, every detail. And one thing, in all the images that I generated, GPT-5 generate with different aspect ratio, right? So here we have square size images on Seedream and Nano Banana, but GPT-5 always generate different aspect ratios. Even in previous examples, I just cut them, so keep them equal. But here I couldn't do that. I didn't want, because if I cut, I would remove part of the details and that wouldn't look so good, right? So on GPT-5, we have our items clearly, right? But if we zoom in, for example, there are some things that doesn't make sense. First of all, the letters on the keyboard are not very clear, right? The text here, it's not clear. The text on the sticker here, meeting at 0 p.m. It's not clear, and it is clear, but it's not correct. Here we mentioned meeting at 3 p.m., right? But it wrote at 0 p.m., so it's wrong. The details here, it's not really good. The headphone here, headphones usually when they have wires, they don't have two wires usually, right? Most of the time they have one wire and the other wire goes through the top part, so it's not like that. Anyway, GPT-5 result wasn't really successful. Let's look at Nano Banana. And Nano Banana, well, we talked about it. It is good at text, so the text is correct, right? The elements here, the items are correct. The text here on the book, it's clear. I think it's clear in all three. And here we have our headphone, but at the bottom of the wire, it's not really correct, right? And more or less, it's good, right? It's usable. It's better than GPT-5. And here we have Seedream, right? So for Seedream, we have our a sticker clearly with the text on it. Now, to show it to you better, I'm gonna, because I decrease the size to put it inside this image, I'm gonna show it to you here. So if we zoom in, these are each images, right, with their maximum size, right? So you can understand, like when we zoom in here. But here on Seedream example, look at the quality, right? I can zoom till here and everything is clear. Even it thought about this tape to put it on the sticker, right? These items are very clear and high quality. And the details on the headphone, right? It's really good. It's really, really good. If we compare it to the headphone here, right? The resolution just drops. And here, if you just compare the details here, it's much, much better, right? That's why it's 4K, right? So again, Seedream result also win in this example. Let's go for the next one. So in this example, this is our prompt. In a watercolor sketchbook style, create an illustration guide for planting sunflower with the step descriptions in English, right? So the prompt is clear. This is the GPT-5 result, which you can see it's not a square size. We didn't mention a square, but these two normally just by default, they generate the same aspect ratio, and GPT-5 just decide it to be different. The description is clear, but it's not much. It is just the steps. It doesn't have description, right? And the look of it is good. It's watercolor, right? It looks good. And more or less it's fine. Here, Nano Banana, I think, did a better job. So we have a title. It's looked like a sketchbook, right? And it has description for each step clearly, right? Even the text inside the watercolor part, the images, it's really clear, right? And here is a Seedream example. This is also good. For every part of it, it's good, but it has some mistakes. Here in the text, this part of it, you see, it's not really understandable, and part of the text came down. So I think I didn't try this again. I think with a couple of tries and changing the prompt a little, we can get a really good result out of Seedream. But in this example, I think Nano Banana wins. Let's go for the next one. In this example, I wanted to change the label of a product in an image. So here is an original image. I got it from Google, right? And here on the label, we have orange juice. There are some other texts like it's a magic. Here we have brand, right? Here we have the capacity of the bottle, which is 1 liter, right? Pulp free. And here we have the GPT version. And let me show you the prompt. So the prompt is just change the label text on the bottle, orange juice, to Eti juice with the same font and color. Okay. So here, first of all, it moved the juice part a little bit higher. It's not correctly spelled. And it removed brand. It put Eti. It's not really clear. It made some changes here. Remove part of it. It's not really good, right? So ChatGPT lose this round. Let's come here on Nano Banana. Nano Banana did a good job. We have the changes here, Eti juice. It's clearly spelled. And it's a magic. We have it here. Pulp free, we have it. Brand, we have it. And it's good, right? Almost everything that we asked for. And here we have Seedream 4, right? The title is good, more or less, but it removed part of this. There was a hat here. It was written, it's a magic. This is not clear. The brand text, it's not really good. This part is not readable. Pulp free is not readable. So comparing to Nano Banana did a better job at small texts, right? It was much better. But comparing to images, because this is 4K, you see, for example, look at this small splash at the top, comparing it to here. Somehow, Seedream improved the image as well, right? So if we have this image here, this one, the colors, the lighting, it makes some small changes in the colors and lighting and make it much better, right? If I zoom in, you'll see, right? It's a little bit better comparing to the original one. But the text, Nano Banana wins. Let's go for the next one. So the last example that we have here is an image that we generated from text. Here's a prompt. Generate a realistic cinematic image of an old man smoking in a cafe in black and white style and raining outside. Okay, so this is the result done by ChatGPT. It's good. It looks realistic. It looks good. But comparing to the other models, for example, the man is smoking here. The other models put ashtray here, right, for smoking. But GPT-5 didn't think about it, right? Here on Nano Banana example, it looks good, right? We have rain outside, we have ashtray, the man is thinking, it's good, the quality is good, right? And on Seedream, right? On Seedream, the quality is much better. We have raining outside, everything is exactly similar to our prompt. But there's one thing that I want you to pay attention here. And that is the clothes of a man, right? Look at the cloth. It's like it's telling us a story. This man was outside and got wet, right? We can see some raindrop on his clothes, right? But on the other examples, we don't have this. It's like the same thing that I mentioned earlier. Seedream think more about the image that it want to create. it thinks logically, right? It tries to understand how how this happened, how we are here, right? And generate this image. Let me just bring the original one with a higher resolution so you can see all the details on the clothes. If I zoom in here, you see it's really clear. He got wet, right? And here we have the ashtray. Inside it there are some other cigarettes, right? And it's really good. It's really, really, really good, right? Look at the details. As much as I zoom in until here, the details are amazing, right? So these were the examples, and now let's talk about how and where to use Seedream. Now, unlike Nano Banana, which you can go to Gemini and use it for free, Seedream is paid, right? You can get access to Seedream on different platforms. Some platforms may give you some credit to just generate a couple of images, but generally Seedream is paid. Now on you can come on Replicate, right? Replicate.com and create your account, go to billing, add a credit. Okay, I myself added $10 credit more than 10 days ago, and I generated tons of images, and I still have $3.50. I just spent $6. And I myself use Replicate for Seedream. I will put down the link also in the description. And when you create your account, you added credit. You can come here to this link, right? Which again, it will be in the description. And you can generate the images that you want. So first of all, every image that you generate, it will cost you 3 cents, right? For example, we have Nano Banana here as well, but Nano Banana costs a little bit more. It's almost 4 cents, right? So Seedream, it's a little bit cheaper, right? So here you can write your prompt. And if you have some additional reference images, you can add them here. You can add up to 10 images. And here you can select your the quality of your image, 1K, 2K, or 4K, or custom. And then here we have the aspect ratio. We have examples, or for example, here you can upload an image and tell AI to just change something there. And then you can put it on match input image for the aspect ratio, so it generates the same aspect ratio as your original image, right? And here we have two options. The first one is sequential image generation, which is disabled. You can put it on auto. And then here you can select the number of max images. Now, this is for the time that you want to generate a couple of images, right, at the same time, which those images are connected. It's maybe like a story, or maybe step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, something like that, right? You need a couple of images that are connected to each other. For that, you can come here, put this option on auto, and then mention the number. But the thing is that Seedream look at your prompt, look at your setting, and then decides whether or not generate a couple of images for you or not, okay? So if you want a couple of images, mention it inside your prompt. Mention that in each image, I want to have this. On the second image, I want to have this, right? Just write the prompt completely detailed, and then Seedream will generate 4 images, which again, for each image, it will charge you 3 cents, okay? So this is how you can use it, but also there is another way. It will cost the same, but you can use it inside Photoshop, right? You can use Seedream inside Photoshop. There you will have access to layers, you will have access to mask layers, right? You can make selection around part of your image and ask Seedream to just make changes for that small part, change the color, change the shape. Here is the shirt, change the shirt of the person to this new shirt, for example, right? You can do many things like that inside Photoshop, which requires a plugin, which again, I will put down the link to the training or to product demo, to demo of that plugin, that where you can get it and how you can get that plugin and install it on your Photoshop. I will put down the link in the description so you can check it out. Tomorrow I will publish another video on how to use Seedream inside Photoshop with a complete tutorial like this. For example, I can come here, make a selection, and then come here to script, Seedream 4, and then write my prompt, add my reference images, select the quality, the aspect ratio, and everything else, and then generate from here. And when I generate from here, again, we have the layers, we have mask layers, and all the details that we need. So that was all for this video. I hope you liked it, and go ahead, create cool images using Seedream. And if you have any question or comments, write it down. I will read all of your comments, respond to all of them. And if you need my help, just let me know. I will look forward to see you tomorrow on the next video.